Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Embarrassing Stories. First up we have TIFU by cooking with hot sauce and gassing my apartment. In hindsight, this was a terrible idea. I'm still coughing and tearing up as I type this. I'm generally a night owl, so as usual I'm up at 3 a.m. cooking up some lunch. I don't know why I'm laughing, I'm a night owl too, it's not unusual I'll be cooking at that time. Roast potatoes with a side of pickled vegetables, and the culprit of my fuck-up, fried courgette, zucchini for you Americans, is nothing I haven't made before. Just a dish of hot oil in a pan and some courgette slices cooked until brown. Crisp and light brown. Light, tasty, but not quite the kick I was looking for tonight, no. I needed something extra, something spicy. Luckily my sister got me a fancy hot sauce set for Christmas. These weren't your average taste like fire and regret sauces. They were made from extravagant chilies mixed with mango and other ingredients. I tried them before and they were genuinely delicious. I could have just added the sauce to the vegetables after taking them off the heat, but no, I figured it would taste better if I cooked the sauce into the courgette a bit first. So I excitedly grabbed the bottle labeled Stingin' Scorpion Chili Sauce and added a generous dash straight into the hot, oily pan. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, is where I fucked up. It's worth mentioning that the scorpion chili is among the hottest in the world, a hybrid bred specifically to cause suffering. As if there's not enough suffering in the world, people gotta create more. It can reach up to 1,460,000 Scoville units. Instantly a plume of smoke and steam erupted from the pan infused with the capsaicin. It hit my face just as I inhaled. My eyes, nose, throat, and chest all started burning at once. It felt like I tried to breathe in boiling lava. I was coughing and spluttering, but I couldn't stop. I needed to get it off the heat. I yanked the pan away and quickly plated the food. I figured rinsing the pan would get rid of the problem. I was dead wrong. I had effectively deployed homemade tear gas into my kitchen. It was not leaving. I turned on the extractor fan to full blast and opened— this reminds me of the garlic guy a couple of weeks back— and opened the windows before fleeing with my plate of food into my bedroom. You're still gonna eat it. It's definitely the garlic guy. Which was thankfully uncontaminated. You two should talk. For about 5 minutes. Then the coughing started again. My eyes began watering, the burn in my sinuses intensified, and I realized the gas was seeping into my room through my closed door. When I opened it, I finally saw how bad it was. The kitchen was hazy, filled with a lingering cloud of pain that was slowly spreading through the apartment. There was nowhere to escape to. The tear gas is finally clearing out, but for the next few hours I'll be breathing through a cloth like I'm in a low-budget apocalypse movie. Learn from my mistakes. If you're going to cook with hot sauce, don't throw it into oil unless you want to gas your kitchen and every room connected to it. Alrighty, story number 2 is by TIFU by saying damn too loud. By Addicted to It. I started a new job, and I'm still trying to learn people's names and faces. My department is in another state, but it seems like most companies are doing away with remote work. I've been chatty with those around me, but I haven't gone out of my way to meet everyone on the floor. I enjoy engaging in playful banter when it is initiated by others. This past Thanksgiving, the office floor was nearly empty. No one I talked to was in the office, and only a handful of people were working that day. That morning, a woman I recognized from the floor, but with whom I'm not familiar, said good morning to me. I was polite, smiled, and had a small elevator convo with her. She is very attractive, short, African-American, big, beautiful woman, who is always wearing very cute outfits. Today she is wearing a very tight and thin light pink workout suit. It was pressed hard against every inch of her, except for the flare legs. She had on the matching jacket, tank top, and pants. When we got out of the elevator, we walked towards the same door. Things felt awkward for me as I was done with small talk. We walked together to the same area with hardly anyone in the office. I noticed that her desk was in the same area but a different bullpen as the one I worked in. I go about my day, then I head to the bathroom. After I left the bathroom is when I fucked up. As I leave the bathroom, she is standing by the elevators waiting for one, and is gripping her ass with both hands and pulling on the jumpsuit. I stop, and I'm not one to stare, but I'm honestly shocked. At first, I just thought she was getting to pull her pants and adjust a wedgie in there. That is not what was happening. She was grabbing her ass and pinching it. I was so mesmerized by what was going on, I said, "Damn!" She quickly turned around. We made eye contact. We both looked like deer in the headlights. I could feel myself blush that I was unable to move, and she was also blushing. This whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes, and I'm sure it was even less than that, but honestly it felt like an eternity. The elevator dinged. I said nothing as I walked to the office. She said nothing as she walked into the elevator. Internally, I was yelling at myself for how hard I was looking. Secondly, I was thinking I just fucked up this job. I was certain that HR was going to get involved. The rest of the day went on without incident. Yeah, she's the one that probably thinks she's in trouble as well for what she was doing in public. Basically, you're just both embarrassed. I don't think anyone needs to feel bad here. The rest of the day went on without incident. I was hoping that nothing would come out of it, but realized how inappropriate what I did was. I thought about apologizing, but I still didn't even know her name. The following Monday, I walk by the area she sits in to try to apologize. She isn't there. A million things run through my head. Relax, relax, I tell myself. There is always tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. She is not there. I ask one of the people I talk to if they know who she is. They tell me her name and that she is on vacation. When she finally comes back from vacation, my workload is crazy, and I didn't have a chance to go and speak with her. Honestly, I'm also trying to avoid having that conversation. I think by now you should let it go. I practiced what I would say, but it always sounded cringy and just wrong. Days turned into weeks, then Christmas came around. I was going to take some time off, but here I was at work again the Friday after Christmas. She walks in, we make eye contact and exchange awkward good morning. After several minutes, enough for her to get settled, I take a deep breath and walk over to her desk. I introduce myself, I give her my name, area I work in. I'm thinking she will... Don't hang yourself! I'm thinking she will need that information for the HR report. She is looking puzzled. Makes sense. Normal people don't introduce themselves as John Smith Shipping Department. Then I went into my apology. I want to Her eyes widened as I started, and she gave me a slight headshake. Right, then I'll be going back to my desk, I said, super awkward and nervous. She never gave me her name. We bumped into each other in the elevator, and both of us were staring at the floor the whole time. Yeah, she probably didn't think you were hitting on her necessarily, just that you caught her with her hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. I don't think she thought she was being sexually harassed. Story number 3. TIFU by explaining my mom's job very, very wrong to my boyfriend's family. I am Brazilian, and when this happened in 2013, I had been living in Ireland for about 2 years. My English was good enough for everyday conversations, but my vocabulary was limited. This detail is important. This was the very first time I met my then-boyfriend's parents. It was a Sunday lunch at his parents' house. Nothing formal, but it still felt like a big moment. We had only just started dating, and I remember being extra careful, trying to be polite, charming, and generally not say anything stupid. I didn't really know what kind of family they were yet, and even though I'd never personally experienced prejudice in Ireland for being Brazilian, I had friends who had, so I was very aware that this lunch could go badly. We were all sitting around the table, eating and chatting, when the friendly and expected interrogation started. Where I was from, how long I'd been in Ireland, how many siblings I had, all normal, all easy. I was starting to relax and feel like I was doing fine. Then someone asked, "So what does your mum do for a living?" My mom is an artisan. She crafts, scrapbooking, painting, handmade things. In Portuguese, you can casually explain that by saying she works with her hands. My brain latched onto that phrase in Portuguese, did a terrible split-second translation, and before I could stop myself, I said very calmly, "Oh, she does hand jobs." The reaction was immediate. My father-in-law and brother-in-law burst out laughing. Spoilers, they got married. But not confused laughter. Not delayed laughter, instant, uncontrollable laughter. My boyfriend laughed too, torn between laughing and trying to keep a straight face. At the same moment they started laughing, I realized what I've just said. My brain finally caught up and went, "You just told them your mother gives hand jobs for a living." I was mortified. I wanted to cry right there at the table. My face was burning and my English completely disappeared. My boyfriend tried to break the laughter and the silence and said something like, "She means her mum is an artisan. She works with crafts, scrapbooking, painting." The mother-in-law and sister-in-law immediately jumped in as well and shut it down, saying it was obvious what I meant, that it wasn't funny and to stop. I appreciated them more than I can properly explain. Lunch continued. I survived barely. No, you learned what kind of family they were, and it sounds like a good one. Good-natured, can take a joke. Fast forward 11 years of marriage and 12 years of knowing them. I love them dearly. And yes, this story has now become part of our family's Christmas tradition. Every Christmas, at some point, someone brings up the handjobs incident. I can laugh about it now, but that first Sunday, sitting at that table, I was convinced I had just completely embarrassed myself beyond recovery. Glad I didn't. There's one last part to this story. I've never told my mom. She absolutely adores my husband's family, even though they don't speak the same language at all, and I know that if she heard this story, she'd be mortified. So for now, this story lives with us, Reddit and YouTube, and the Christmas table, but not with her. Shh. Okie dokie. Story number 4 today is TIFU setting up my new iPhone while high, by It's Me, Verity. Obligatory, this happened months ago, but it keeps biting me in the ass. That's why I don't use iPhones. I'm an Android user for many reasons, but I like certain art tools that Apple provides. My dad had an old iPhone 11 he was wanting to get rid of and sent it my way. Neat. That worked out and I'm grateful for it. I put off setting it up because it's such a pain, boring, and takes time out of my day I'd rather spend doing other things. So one night I decided to take some edibles when I had the brilliant idea to set it up at that time, because then anything could be fun, plus time flies. I will wake up and have a functioning iPhone and all will be good. Except when I did wake up the next morning, I had forgotten that while high, I thought it'd be funny to prank future me with a funny screensaver. While customizing the phone, I found I could make a custom wallpaper with emojis, and you can guess which combination I chose. Wet eggplant emojis. Oh my. So when I turned it on, all I could see was a ton of repeating dick emojis. I was trying to process the whole picture, asked my roommate why I did that, and he responded laughing, "Yeah, I don't know, you said it was a really good idea. You were giggling the whole time you were setting it up. It was pretty funny." Alright, so I fucked with my own self. It is kind of funny, but let's change this before I go and get coffee somewhere. And when I turn my phone on, it's all dick emojis. But when I did that, the password came back wrong. What? Okay, maybe I inputted it wrong. Tried again and had the same result. The panic starts setting in. I try another password. Nope. And another? Nope. I'm running out of password attempts. Already? Lovely. What in the actual fuck did I make the password? Why would I choose that time to make up a new one? I must have messed it up because I can't imagine being that dumb. I think while staring at my custom wallpaper. I asked my roommate how I can reset it, and he says, "Oh, you have to go to an Apple store." Oh no. So to get this straight, I have to go to an Apple store and talk to a live human being to explain that this phone was a passed-down gift from my father, that I had gotten high, and thought that when... You don't have to explain all that, just say, "Could you fix this, please?" Thought that it'd be funny to have a bunch of dick emojis all over the screen. But I also can't remember what fucking password I used when I set it up either. Yeah, so anyways, I had put the phone back in the box he sent with it, and it's collected dust for months and maybe a year. I genuinely forgot this all happened until last night when I tried to make an Apple TV account, and they require you to use an Apple device to set one up. My roommate reminded me that I should take my iPhone to the store so I can fix it. I thought, wait, what iPhone? The one you put all those eggplant emojis on. I need to go to the store soon anyways, so you could charge it and come with to explain to them what happened. Y'all, it appeared I had completely blacked that part of my life out for my sanity, so I could live for a time in blissful ignorance. Guess I need to charge it up and accept my fate. So embarrassing. Guarantee you that is not the worst or the smuttiest thing they've ever seen, probably not even that day. But you might give them a chuckle. Okay, fifth and final story today is TIFU by attempting to visit my stepmom after surgery and accidentally speedrunning every possible inconvenience known to man. By Scared Sid. A few months ago, my family found out my stepmom has breast cancer. Today was the day of her double mastectomy. So emotions were already high. My sister told me to meet her at the hospital at 1 p.m. and mentioned that the car's key fob doesn't work, so I'd need to use the physical hidden key inside it. Cool, noted, no problem. I leave the house at 12:30 because the hospital is about 30 minutes away. What I didn't realize was that my phone never charged overnight. About halfway there, my phone dies completely. I also recently moved here, so I have no idea where I am. I spend 15 minutes driving around in panic mode until I finally figure out where I am. First stop, dollar store to buy a charger. Every single charger, USB-C. I have an ancient iPhone, so that's useless. Second stop, grocery store. I find one lightning cable left in the entire store. A miracle! I buy it, go back to the car, open the package, and realize it's lightning to USB-C. At this point, I'm questioning my existence. I turn the car on and realize I have almost no gas, so I pull into the gas station next to the store. My phone is still dead, so I leave it in the car along with the key, because I usually keep the door open while pumping gas so I can sit down. While I'm paying, a huge gust of wind slams the car door shut. A few seconds later, I hear a quiet click. The car locked itself. My dead phone and the key are now locked in the car. At the gas pump, I'm 18, I have no idea what to do, so I panic, borrow the clerk's phone, and call my dad. He tells me he can't leave the hospital and to go wait at the McDonald's across the street. He'll send someone. So I go to McDonald's with nothing but my wallet, buy food, and sit there alone for about an hour with zero distractions, and a whole lot of self-reflection. Eventually, my sister's boyfriend shows up with the spare key fob. I get back into the car, finally got gas, drive to a drugstore, and finally buy another charger. This one works. I call my dad, he tells me to just go home because I've clearly had an awful day. I've declared that I am in bad luck quarantine, and I've been home 30 minutes writing this. It's 3 p.m. Thanks for listening to the day the universe personally chose to mess with me. Well, the important lesson to take there is, sure, you got into a bad situation, but you also had people you could call that helped you get out of it. And you did. A couple of people helped you. I hope that when you do eventually get to visit your stepmom, that she has a really good recovery. She's going to need everybody around her supporting her at this point. And thank you very much for letting me use your story. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's video. Big thanks to everyone who allowed us to use their stories in this video. I'm looking very green this video. Well, we'll just be green. I'll probably change the light color for the next one. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. $1 a month gets you, or more, whichever you're comfortable supporting. Sometimes it's $1, sometimes $5, or whatever. It's all appreciated. It gives you early access to the videos on Monday. There's also a link to my merchandise store on Teespring, as well as my Discord server, my Threads account, and my email address if you need to contact me for any reason. But that's everything for now, so until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.